Okay, we are in the weekly Torah portions, Portion-Balak. Please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, hit the bell for notifications, and by all means, like and comment. And that way, whatever you do, it's going to bring it way up in your ratings. Thanks. Now, it's Portion-Balak, and in Portion-Balak, we're dealing with the Jews have just conquered some areas. They conquered Sichon, they conquered Og, two giants of the area, two major powers of the area. And those powers, according to the Midrashim, they are the ones who are protecting the rest of the area. They were the gatekeepers. Everybody, with all the other nations, were relying upon them to save them from the marauding enemy, whoever that would have been. Okay, and it says that both Sichon and Og were very powerful, and their cities were very powerful, really impregnable. And suddenly, with the Jews coming in and wiping them out, both of these guys in one fell swoop was not a good sign for everybody else. They said, we're next. Now, the truth is, Balak, who was ruling over Moab, really didn't have to worry, because Moab was not one of the areas that the Jews were going to take over. Who was Moab given to? Lot. Lot was given that land, and the reason he was so Moab and Ammon were Lot's children. So their children were really not part of the deal, and they knew, and seemingly they knew that. Still, no, they decide. The king decides, this is how they explain what his problem is. They say, if Balak, the king, can beat the Jews, then I become the superpower. And even if I can't beat them totally, I can still wound them, so people are still going to come to us, and so on and so forth. We can take them out. So really, that's why he's getting involved in a fight. He doesn't really have to. Even though they're encamped by his border, they really don't have permission by God. And yes, everybody does. For all the what do you call them? What do you like to argue with the atheists out there? For all the atheists out there, at this juncture in history, everybody believes in God. There's no atheists in the world at this point. You have pagans, but there are no atheists. They all believe in a power. Their God is more powerful than my God, so on and so forth. They all have the same concept of, if your God beat mine, it's either because I did something that got my God angry at me, knows I have to do tshuva, or it's just your God is stronger than my God, and therefore I'm going to follow your God now. So there is a concept of, they understand there is a Torah out there or some law, and there's this ancient promise. Again, they're coming from Lot, which lived with Abraham, and so on and so forth. So there is that concept there. So it's not something that they're just the anti-Jew.
So the children of Lot. So after Lot's wife turned into the
pillar of salt, so he had relations with his daughters.
So how come the children of Lot are not Jewish? What happened to them?
No, nobody's Jewish until Sinai.
Oh, so this
Remember, everybody.
Oh, so they were out of the covenant. All they never were in.
Right, they weren't part of the covenant. They didn't have to circumcise themselves. That was Abraham and his servants, and by the way, when that's already happened, Lot is out of the picture. Lot leaves pretty early in the picture. Right, because after when they went to Sodom and Gomorrah, and they were in that, so that's a while ago. So he was never part of the circumcision, and while he certainly is related to Abraham, as so many people are, but they didn't accept the covenant. So same thing with Asaph. You could argue on Asaph too. Why isn't Asaph's kids Jewish? They come from a Yitzchak.
He went his own way.
He went his own way. It was only it was only in Yaakov, and Yaakov's kids didn't go away.
Yeah.
So we're part of that thing.
God, yes, is way back with Abraham. Yeah.
Right, but so that's why they're not Jewish. Yeah. But again, even those people, all of our ancestors in Egypt, were just part of the tribe, but they weren't really. In other words, they all still B'nai Noach. Until Sinai, we're all B'nai Noach.
Yeah.
We had just accepted upon ourselves the covenant of circumcision and so on and so forth. And then the question is, did they really circumcise in Egypt or didn't they? Because there's a mass circumcision afterwards. So what happened, that was the blood they had, was the blood of circumcision. So were they doing it until then? Weren't they? Was just a lot of kids born that day? I don't know. But there's an argument back and forth. What did they actually do circumcision there? And certainly in the midbar, after they've already accepted, they still don't do circumcision because the north wind isn't blowing, so it doesn't heal the kids and so on and so forth. Okay, so you have all those headaches to go with it, but really that's why Lot's kids are not considered Jewish. Now, yeah.
There's a comment. There's a
comment away.
There's I don't know if it's a modern term. It's called power scaling.
Power scaling. What is power scaling?
So, what I've heard referred to as is like when people take like Superman and Batman and comic book characters, like who can beat who. Like my superhero can, like, this is my favorite superhero.
You're talking about the gods?
No, like people. The term power scaling is like cartoon characters, whatever.
Right.
This guy can beat this guy, which means he can beat.
Anyone smaller.
A can beat B, and if B can beat C, then A can beat C because A.
Okay. Oh, you're saying that would be
And Balak is like,
Balak,
if I can beat Israel, then I'm stronger than both Sichon and Og.
Correct.
Because Israel beat both.
Correct. That's what he wants. If he's saying, so that you call that a power what?
Power scaling.
Power scaling. Okay. So power scaling, correct. If Balak could beat the Jews, so then since Sichon and Og couldn't beat them, so he becomes the next superpower. Right. 100%. Again, and even if he does lose, he's still showing, what's he doing? He's showing that you can still come out and attack and wound. That's also important. You want to show they're not impregnable. So for Balak. Okay, so now what happens? Verse line, a strange line, really. It says, V'yar Balak ben Zippor. Balak saw, Balak the son of Zippor saw, Eit kol asher sa Yisrael le'emori, all that Israel did to the Amorites. Now, you couldn't say he saw it, unless he's watching TV or some other mass media, that he actually sees the battle taking place. What should it have said? Vayishma. He heard. He heard, not he saw.
Yeah.
So Vayar means he understood.
Yeah, this expression has come up before someplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes up, you know where it came up? In Genesis, when it's talking about Avimelech saw what's his name? Yitzchak with Rivka, Mitzachik with Rivka, having relations, as it were. And he says he couldn't have seen him. It was impossible because no tzaddik would do it during the day and so on and so forth. So he saw because of the way they were acting. He understood that that's what it was. So that's Vayar. And if you think about our language, even our language, when you say something, you say, oh, I see, which means I understand.
Yes, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you're seeing that expression of I see really is coming from the Torah. To mean I understand. Okay? V'yar Balak, so that's what it says. Balak, the son of Zippor, saw or understood all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And what does that mean? So Rashi says, Amra Elu Shnei Malachim Shayinu Betuchim Aleihem. These two kings, that we were trusting them to protect us. Lo Amdu Bifnehem. They couldn't stand in front of them. So us all the more so. If we're relying, here's your power scaling. If we who could not beat Og and Sichon were beaten by the Jews, we have no chance to beat them. Lefichach vayag. So that's why we have the next verse. Vayaga Moab, and Moab became very frightened. Mipnei ha'am ma'od, from the Vayaga Israel. Okay, so they became very frightened because of the nation. Ki ravu, because there was a lot of them. Vayakatz Moab, so Moab was disgusted. Mipnei b'nei Israel, because, or in front of b'nei Israel. So Rashi explains Vayagar's lashon mora, that they were afraid. Vayakatz Moab. So it says that Moab was disgusted. And it says, Rashi says, b'nei katzu b'chayehem, in their own lives. And so they weren't discussed by the Jews, but apparently they were afraid for themselves. They were powerless, so they didn't know what to do. Okay, and does he say it here? If you look at number 3, he says, Kiravu, because it was numerous, Israel had multiplied miraculously under Egyptian servitude, while Moab was a relatively young nation whose population growth had been normal. Thus was heavily outnumbered by the advancing Jews. That's according to the Ramban. Now, when in the Jews in Egypt, we went from 70 to over 3 million in only 210 years. That is an amazing population growth. And that's because each mother, except if you're from the tribe of Levi, each mother, when she would give birth to 6 healthy babies, which was a miracle in itself, every single time. So if you have 4 births, that's already 24 kids to the family. And you're blinking like, are you crazy? Okay. And all the fathers supported them. Amazing thing. Yeah.
Oh boy.
They had to work, I guess. But so that is what was going on. So Vayomer Yoav El Ziknei Midian. Here's also a strange line. Yeah, Moab, the elders of Moab, you have to assume, said to the elders of Midian, Atah. Now, first of all, why is Moab talking to Midian? Moab and Midian are enemies. They're enemies. They've been enemies for a long time. He says they have been traditional enemies, but now what happened? They came together in response to the perceived threat from Israel, which they feared would uproot and utterly destroy everything in its path. And this is what the person is going to say: as an ox pulls out the roots of grass, so that nothing is left of it, seeking some form to save itself. Moab hoped that the Midianites, among whom Moshe had lived when he fled Egypt as a boy, could shed light on the reason for his success and how he could be defeated. The Midianites said that his strength lay in his mouth, so that the Moabites sent for the evil prophet Bilam, whose power lay in his ability to curse. Okay, so that's how everybody's talking. So Moab goes to their enemy, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah. Simple thing. And they said, now the nation, the congregation that is around us will lick up our entire surroundings. So they're like the shore, like the ox licks up the greenery of the field, which means, like we just read, it uproots everything, it makes the place barren. Balak ben Zippor melech Moab be'edahi. And Balak, the son of Zippor, was the king of Moab at that time. Why does it, now it should have just said, forget it, I'm rewriting the Torah here. It should have just said, and Balak was the king of Moab. Why does it have to say be'edahi at that time? Those words don't belong there. So Rashi explains, Lo haya roy lemalchut. He was not fit to be a ruler. He was just from the soldiers of Midian. But when Sichon died, so they appointed him as king at that time. That's why it says be'edahi. At that time, he was just appointed, a brand new king. Okay, a new king arises, he has to protect his people. So now what are we going to do? So he's really from Midian. So now, by the way, that makes more sense. Why Moab will go back to Midian? He already knows the Midianites. He knows that Moshe lived there. Moshe went there when he ran away from Pharaoh. And now the Midrash goes crazy on this. Some people say he was even the ruler of Midian for a little while. So they knew very much what he was like. Okay. And
why didn't the Midianites use that and say, "Hey, let's try and be friends with the Jews, because we know your ruler, we know your king, Moshe."
Why didn't they try to make an alliance?
Yeah, I guess
because Midian didn't like Bnei Israel either. They're going to take the land over.
I'm saying like the rest of them, they had to fear because they didn't this is an outside invasion. Midian, we know this guy.
Right, but he didn't. If he would have stayed there, if he wanted them. No, he grew up in the area, granted, but he even married into Midian, right? Because he married the girl. So Sephora, right? So he marries one of them, and he has a father-in-law in that area. But at the same time, he's not. He's not going to. God's called him. It's a difference when God calls you as compared to normal alliances. In other words, if we really believed, I just saw the article, so I'm going to pick on Trump. If we really believed that Trump was Mashiach and that he was being spoken to by God and he had all the which we don't. Okay, we clearly don't. So for all the people out there, we don't. Okay, fine. But let's say, since there are articles out there that want to claim he is, apparently some Christians are holding that he's Messiah or next to Messiah. I'm not sure where they're getting all this stuff from. But I just saw the article just recently. But let's say he really could. And let's say, first of all, that God was speaking to us, which we don't hear today. God is speaking to us, but we don't have the God channel. Okay, we don't know how to zone in. So it sounds like static to us, if anything. But let's say we had a true person that we trusted. So if that person is told, bring the Jews to, or bring whatever to this place, you don't want to get involved with him. You're not going to try to convince him otherwise. I mean, you're just a mere mortal, and he's being talked to by God. And he knows it's not a matter of he's insane being talked to by God. He knows he's sane, and he knows God's speaking to him. Sort of like Bilam-The in that movie, Oh God. With really, you guys are so lost with this one. What?
John Denver?
John Denver. What did I say? Bill Denver?
I said Bob Denver.
Bob Denver.
Bob Denver.
I'm mixing two people up. Okay, John Denver. What?
John Denver is a singer.
John Denver.
Right?
Singer, right.
Singer.
But he was in a movie called Oh God with the old guy with this cigar. Jewish guy. This guy with the cigar, no?
George Burns.
George Burns. George Burns was God, okay. But so God, he knows he's speaking to God, and he's trying to advertise. God wants to advertise one out there. And apparently what's his name? John Denver is apparently a advertising guy in this movie. So he's trying to get the word out. But here, again, if you know that you're really speaking to God as clearly as John knew, or the others would ultimately know that they're speaking to God in all these movies, so then you have this mission. Nobody can take you off that mission, right? Because you know you're spoke. So that's why it wouldn't be worth it for them to try to convince Moshe. By the way, Moshe wasn't even attacking Midian. He had nothing to do with Midian. So they're like, we're good. You guys are coming to us. We'll answer you, but we're cool. Moshe's good with us. He's not picking on me. He's like, your border, not mine. So really, they don't have to get involved. Although, again, they want to get rid of them because it's just to their advantage. So they're willing to help out, but they're not going to take responsibility for it. Okay? So it says, Vayishlach malachim el Bilam ben Beor. So what they did was they sent, when they found this out, they said he has the power of in the tongue. So Vayishlach malachim, so he sent messengers to Bilam ben Beor, to Bilam the son of Beor. And by the way, Bilam comes from a compound word. They want to say Bilam is without a nation. Bilam was nationless. Okay. Even though he was part of a nation, but still he had no alliance, you would say, with anybody. Bilam ben Beor, Petor, that's where they're going towards Petor. Asher al Nahar, Eretz Bnei Ammon, which was to the river of the land of his people. Likrolo, to call him, to meet, or likro could also mean to meet him. Karaz, I'm going to meet you by happenstance, or it could be to call for him. Okay, Valemo is saying, Hine am yetzam Yisrael. Now here's the message. Behold, a nation, not the Jewish nation, a nation, nameless nation, has gone out, left from Egypt. Hine, behold, Kisadena arts is covering the eye of the land. How does he say this? Covering the surface of the earth. Okay, Vehu Yoshe Mamuli, and that nation is dwelling opposite me. It sits opposite me. So Rashi explains, Eretz Bnei Ammon shall Balak, the land of the nation of his people, of Balak, Misham Haya, so there, from there it was said, he was from there, I'm sorry, and this is what he prophesied. And he said, in the future you, and Bilam saying to Balak, in the future you will rule. And if you will say, so now Rashi asks a famous question. Why he waited to this point is always a question you could ask. You could have said this before. But why did Hashem give the power of prophecy to a wicked nation? And why? So that the non-Jews would not be able to indict God and to say to God, Ilu hayalana neviim, if you would have given us prophets like you gave the Jews, we would have improved. We would have done tshuva. You never gave us a chance. You treated us like the stepson. So you didn't do that. But so Hashem says, no. I'm not going to give you the excuse. I'm going to give people amongst you prophecy. They're going to be able to talk to me. They're going to hear what I have to say. And it's up to you to listen or not. Or it's up to them to give the right message or not. That's really, again, free will. You have free will. So he established them prophets. What did they do with them? Parts together, and they broke the fences of the world. Because originally, people made fences around forbidden relations. They wouldn't have relations with their daughters, and so on and so forth. And this prophet is going to give advice to let their daughters be involved in prostitution, to get the Jews. In the end of the story, which we won't get to, but in the end of the story, after Bilam's all messed up, he gives 3 blessings instead of 1 curse. And she says to Balak, he says, Mr. Balak, King Balak, let me tell you something. I don't like the Jews any more than you. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. This is what you should do to get to corrupt the Jews. And then he goes into prophecy. But this is what you should do. He said, get your daughters, get them to their God. Hashem hates immorality. Get them to do something immoral, and you win. And so at that point, again, the end of the story, the end of this parsha, the end of the story, Balak goes from trying to curse them to bringing his daughters to them, and having them commit adultery, commit sexual sins, promiscuity, and then to bow down to Baal Peor and do what was the worship of Baal Peor? Yeah. To defecate in front of it. So you go to the bathroom. So most of us would think that's an insult to gods. Okay, why? Because I'm going to get defecation on the door. It doesn't seem like that's the best way to worship something. And you're putting your behind out to that thing. Okay, fine. So, and yet that was the worship. So they were guilty for that worship. And why would they do that? So the whole midrash that goes with that, again, the midrash is very interesting. That first, the girls would dress seductively outside of their tents because they were in the marketplace. And so the guys would come in and they would say, you want this, you want to have a cup, it's all kosher, we only have kosher stuff. And they would try to get them. And then finally they would say, when they wanted to do something, they would say, here, bow down. They would pull it there, like people wear the cross. So they would pull it out and they would say, here, bow down to this, and then we can engage. And when you're like that, okay, let's do it. Guys are weak. And so that would be when they fell into that trap. But like I say, that's what Rashi's picking on. Here, if you have prophets, our prophets tell us what we shouldn't be doing. And we have to either listen or don't. That's up to, again, our free will allows us to not listen. And normally we didn't. If you look at all the prophetic books, 9 times out of 10 we didn't listen. So only when we were under refreshed did we finally do tshuva. But here they're saying, if you would have given us, like you gave the Jews so many chances, we would have also repented. So he said, no, I did give you them. And so that's why he has to give Bilam the prophecy. Okay. So he says, then he says, this nation left from Egypt. And so Rashi says, V'im Tomra, if you want to say, so what's wrong with them leaving Egypt? What's your problem? They left Egypt. Good, tremendous. He says, it's the next part. Behold, they're covering the surface of the earth. Sichon v'og hayu shomrim otanu. And it says, Sichon and Og, they were guarding it for us. And they stood against them and they killed them. And now they're sitting opposite me, which means they're close to cutting me off. So I don't want that. So therefore, he says, V'yata, and now, verse 6, V'yata l'chana, come please, or come now, arali, curse for me, et ha'amazeh, this nation. Now, arali, the word ara, curse, we have 2 words for curse, ara and kilel, okay? So ara, according to Hirsch, means that you should, it's an inward curse. You want to curse them on the insides, as compared to Kilel, it's just, I curse you on the outside. I dropped dead, something like that. But Ara is an inside, you're going to rot from the inside as well. So he's saying, Ara li'ed ha'amazeh, curse me this nation. Kiatsum hu mimeni, because it is stronger than me. It's too powerful for me. Ulai uchal nakebo, and if you curse it, so then maybe, perhaps, I will be able to hit it or kill it. Vergashenu, and I will drive it or the nation mina arts from the land. That's what he wants to do. He wants to drive us out from the land. Because I know that that which you bless is blessed. Or you are. And that which you curse is cursed. Remember, he's already a proven commodity with Balak. Because Bilam told Balak, you'll be the king. So it worked perfectly. I'm the king now, tremendous. So I know that who you bless is blessed, and who you curse is cursed. And so he says, now when he says, I want to kill, we will smite him. I and my nation will do it. Will knock him off from the value to take out just a little bit of what he has. Again, that is, if I can do that, then I'm going to win also. Fine. So now, what he does is, the next verse, Vayelchu ziknei Moab v'ziknei Midian. So the ziknei, the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian went, and what they have, uksamim biyadam. They went with how they say this, the instruments in their hand, charms in their hand. So Rashi says, what's going on here? Kol minei ksamim. All these types of charms they took. Why? Shlo yamar enkli tashmishi imi. So that Bilam can't say, I don't have the right equipment. I have to shop for it. Okay? Now, it's like when you go to a mechanic. What's the worst thing to do when you go to a mechanic? What's the worst thing to do? Bring your tools and bring the stuff with you. They hate you when you do that. They really hate you when you do that. If you go to a garage and you say, I bought the battery, here's the tools to do it with, and go for it, and can you please get it done, and I'll pay you labor. Oh, they hate you for that. But there's sometimes when you get a backyard mechanic who does have the tools with him. So he says, do you have these tools? Now, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Now, can you imagine, in order to avoid that, so what you do is you bring all the tools that are necessary, because when I had my Dodge van, so there was one particular crazy screwdriver that was necessary. Now, I have to give the guy credit who fixed my car. He had everything, as only a mechanic has it, all strewn. You ever go into these guys? The workshops, they're all strewn over the place. You don't know where anything is, but they know exactly where the tool is, and they pick it up. And I said, when I saw that, it was a really crazy screwdriver or whatever it was. And I said to him, whoa, I've never seen anything like that. And he said, and you won't. There's very few out there because most people don't know about this tool. And he fixed the car in like 2 seconds because he had the right tool. And I said, well, how do you know about that? He said, because I do my homework. And I said, but how many repairs do you have like that? He said, you just paid for the tool, don't worry about it. Yeah, but it's amazing. Again, if you have the right tools, you get the job done quick. Yeah. If you don't, it doesn't get done, or you can't do it. Okay, so that's what they were doing. They were bringing all these charms, so he shouldn't say, I don't have the right charm with me. So then, that's one. The other thing, and again, you have to, Rashi's using the language of the verse for this. It says, Kesem there, this charm that they took in the hands were from the elders of Midian. Amru, the elders of Midian said, Im yavo imanu papam hazot yesh b'mamash. If Bilam comes with us at this time, then there's some reality to what he's going to do. Im yedichenu, if he tries to push us off, aimbo to el, there's no helping. It's not going to help. Even if he decides to come, it's done. And lefichach, so therefore, kish'amar lahem linu po halayla, so he's going to say to them, stay the night, because he doesn't know what God said. Amru ein bo tikva. They said immediately, there's no hope here. Hanichuhu. They left him. V'halchu lehem. And they went home. Shneimar, it says, Vayeshu Sarei Moav im Bilam, that it says that the officers of Moab went with Bilam. Aval Ziknei Midyan alchu lehem, but the Ziknei Midyan, they didn't go anywhere with them. Because they said it's not going to work. That's the charm. So you have two ways to look. Either they brought all the tools, so he couldn't say, I don't have the tool that I need, and I'll have to buy it, and so on and so forth, or you have to charge me for it, or whatever. Or the other one is, no, they understood that if he can't come right immediately, so then it's not going to work. And that's why it says they didn't go. So now what happens? Again, back to the storyline. And he says to them, we heard that he wants them to come. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so they came to Bilam, Balak, and they told him all the words of Balak. And so Vayomer Aleim, he said to them, Linu po halayla, stay here tonight, and I will return to you the matter, like Hashem will say to me, V'yeshu Sarei Moav im Bilam. So that's why it says, again, Ziknei Midyan went away, Sarei Moav stays with Bilam. And so Rashi explains, Linu po hayom, halal stay that night. Why? Because ein ruach hakodesh shora alav ela b'layla. The only time you got prophecy was at night. V'chein l'chol nevi'ei umot ha'olam, and also all the non-Jewish prophets. V'chein Lavan, and also Lavan when he slept at night. Shneimar says God came to Lavan the Aramean in the dream at night, like a man that walks near his pelegesh, to his concubine in hiding. So we're not the Mishnah, the Midrash is not seeing this as a great sign. Kashi the Hashem Elai, like Hashem will speak to me. Im yamlichenu lalechem b'nei adam kamotchem. If Hashem will let me go with men like you, I will go. Shema en kavodo. Perhaps it's not in God's honor to go with you, to lititi lahaloch, to let me go with you. Ella, maybe you have to send people greater than you. In other words, so that's how they understood it. I have to ask God if I can go with you, lowlifes. Maybe God wants better. Maybe God wants you. Maybe you're too low in the thing. He wants me to really have kavod, so you got to send more people. That's how they're understanding. That's what he's leading over for. And then he says they stayed, which fine. So now what happens? Vayavo Elokim. Elba. Now I want you to notice one thing. All the way through, he's saying Hashem, Hashem, Hashem. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Okay, what happens? Vayavo Elokim. Elokim comes to Bilam. Vayomer, and he says, Mi ha'anashim ha'elech imach. Who are these men with you? What would be your natural reaction if God himself comes to you, Travis, and says, who are these men with you? What would be your natural reaction?
To state their business? I don't know.
No, what would you really think? What would you think?
I guess I'd be wondering if it was a problem.
No, besides that. Who are these men with you? Come on. What's your obvious question?
You don't know?
You don't know? What do you mean?
I think I would assume that he knew and that it was...
So why are you asking me?
That,
Yeah.
Oh, it's the where's your brother Abel?
Right. Correct. So he says, Rashi says, Lahatotoba. This question is coming to make him make a mistake. He has a choice how to understand this question.
Oh, it's like Adam Arishon.
Right, same thing. Right, that's what you're saying.
Ah.
So Amar, he said, Pa'amim she'ena kol galoi lefanav. She says, Bilam saying, so sometimes God doesn't know everything. Something's hidden from him. Ein dato shaveh alav. Fine. Afanira ed she'ucha lekalel. So also I'm going to see a time that I can curse them and he won't get it. He won't know what I'm trying to do. I can trick God. Because God said, Mia and this man, who are these men with you? Tremendous. Now, if you don't know, if God, you don't know something, like when he asked Adam, Ayeka, where are you? Like he asked Cain, where's your brother?
Yeah.
It's a way to get into a conversation. You know, it's like, peekaboo, where are you? I know who you are. I'm asking you. Let's have fun here. It's a way to break the ice.
Yeah.
But he understood that as no, God doesn't understand everything. Oh, very nice.
Oh.
So he says, huh?
Apparently over God channels. Sarcasm doesn't translate over God channels.
Right. It says, I like that sarcasm doesn't translate for the people in the listening audience. Sarcasm doesn't translate into the God channel. Very good. Okay. Vayomer Bilam El Elokim. So now Bilam says again to Hashem, to Elokim, Balak ben Sipor Melech Moav Shalach Elai. Balak the son of Sipor, the king of Moab, has sent these guys to me. And Rashi says, what's going on? He had to say the whole thing. Balak ben Sipor, even though I, Bilam, am not important in your eyes, God, I'm considered important in front of the kings. They're sending people to me. So even though I'm not your best guy, you think I'm a lowlife. Okay, that's your choice. Now it's interesting that the Midrash is putting these words into Bilam's mouth, but because Bilam is being, if I just look at simple pshat, he's not saying anything wrong. I have to ask God. I have to do this. I don't know what God's going to say. He's right. How does he know what God? He's not speaking to God like Moses speaks to God. He has visions, so he doesn't know. Yet, because he added the extra words, either the words are Melech. Was it Balak ben Sipor? Melech Moav. Since he gave the whole thing, that's Wanaje Balak Melech, whatever the case is going to be. But since he adds those two things, that's why the Midrash kicks in to say that he is trying to say to God, even though I'm not important in your eyes, I'm important in these guys' eyes. Okay, fine. So then he continues, and he says, Hinei ha'am, behold, there's the nation, the one that came from Mitzrayim, and he is covering the surface of the world. Ata now, he's speaking the words of Balak, by the way. He's giving Balak's command, but watch what he does. Ata lecha kava lioto. Let me curse him, in order that I can fight him and drive him out. Now, he changed the word here, because originally, if you look back at Bilam, Balak, I'll drive him out from the land. He says, V'gerish tiv, I will drive him out. Rashi explains, from the world, I will wipe these people out. It shows that Bilam hated the Jews more than Balak, because he wants to wipe them out from the world. Okay? So Vayomer, I will have to stop here. Vayomer Elokim el Bilam. Hashem says to Bilam, Lo telechem mehem, do not go with him. Lo ta'or et ha'am, don't curse the nation where you are. Ki baruchu, because they are blessed. So you can't bless them, you can't curse them. A blessing from you, it would be a curse for them. And as we would say, Rashi brings down the famous Midrash where it says, you say to the bee, neither your sting nor your honey. We don't want either one. Okay, so we'll have to stop there. But that's the first aliyah.